It's St. Patty's Day. I always do a smoked corned beef flat on St. Patty's Day. I always do some sort of cabbage. You can see them here. But as usual, I'm going to do something just a little bit different. We're going to smoke up this corned beef cabbage, make a Jameson, it's Irish whiskey glaze for it, and we're going to do bacon wrapped smoked cabbage this year. Let's get this cook going. I got one of these pre-packaged corned beef brisket flats. Get them at any grocery. Comes with this little packet of seasonings. Set those aside for just now, but don't get rid of them. And now we're going to season this bad boy. I've got some yellow mustard, and I'm using this mustard as a binder. Just going to rub up both sides. Doesn't have a lot of fat, if you'll notice, and I don't like to trim that fat off when I'm cooking on this pellet grill. I'll show you why in a minute. Now, as soon as we get both sides down, we're going to put some seasoning on it. I'm using the Armadillo pepper beef rub. You can use your favorite beef rub, whatever you like to use. But you can even use salt and pepper, for example. And what I was going to say is I definitely wouldn't use anything like a pork rub on this corned beef. Use a beef rub, use kosher salt, use black pepper, something like that. Just want to sprinkle up both sides. As soon as we get that done, we'll get it over here to this pit boss. Now, I'm going to get a temp probe in it. Move it down away from the heat. And this is like an inch, the grate to where that heat shield is. So that's why I like to move it away from the heat and keep that fat layer on it to help protect the brisket. 1 cup of beef broth. I'm going to put in about 1, 2, 3 teaspoons of yellow mustard. Now, here's that little pack of goodies that comes with that corned beef. What I've got here, 1/4 cup of molasses. Now, it's a little bit cool here in Florida today, so it's just a little bit of a challenge of getting those molasses out. Here I've got 1/4 cup of brown sugar, teaspoon of dried garlic, ground garlic, teaspoon of ground ginger, and 1/2 teaspoon of chipotle powder. Just going to mix this up. No real need to put this in a saucepan and heat it up. Here in just a minute we'll be putting it back on this pit boss. It'll warm up. All these goodies will blend in nicely together. And it just wouldn't be St. Patty's Day without some Jameson whiskey. So I'm going to put a little in here. Roughly, 1/3 cup. A little more won't hurt a thing. Now we're just going to stir it all up. You don't need to preheat it because we'll be putting it on this pellet grill. It'll heat up. Everything will blend in. Hey, it's been 4 hours and we're only at 159. I'm surprised it's not that large of a corned beef. We'll get it down here in this sauce. Now, ordinarily I'd like to have more bark, but it's getting dark, so I got to keep this cook going. We're going to put some foil on it. Put this foil over it. Cinch up the edges. You want it fairly tight and sealed up so that it steams inside. And as it steams, that juice, sauce, whatever you want to call it that we made, is going to just infuse into that corned beef. It's going to be delicious. Let's get this corned beef back on this pit boss, down on the right end here, away from the fire burner. Ouch! We need to get that temp probe in, but don't be like me, use a glove. And then we'll keep monitoring the temperature of this guy till it gets up to about 200, 202, 203. I'm going to put half a tablespoon of garlic powder in this bowl. Then I'm going to grab some onion powder. We'll put another half a tablespoon, maybe even 2/3 of a tablespoon of this onion powder in here. Now the next thing I've got is some fennel salt. Now if you don't have fennel salt, you can use kosher salt. We're going to use about 2/3 of a tablespoon of this fennel salt. Then the last thing I'm going to do is grab some red pepper flakes, and we'll put in about 1/2 tablespoon. Just want to mix this goodness all up together. And this is going to go on our cabbage. All right, let's get to the cabbage. First thing we're going to do, cut the end off. Cut this bad boy in half. Oops, almost lost that half, but we didn't. Probably should have bought a cutting board out here, but I didn't do that either, did I? One more time. One more time. In half. Let's cut each one of these. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got to cut into 8s. Now the question is that about the right size for your guest? You can cut this down again if you want, or you can leave it the way it is, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull this cabbage back, get it out of the way. I'm going to put a pan down here, get our cabbage wedges on here. Like I say, you can cut these down again if you want, but this is about the size I want to eat. A little olive oil. How much? I don't know. A couple tablespoons. Just want to rub this olive oil over each side. Like so. Now we're going to hit both sides of this cabbage up with that seasoning mix we made. Get them all flipped over again. It's going to be delicious. Now I'm going to take some bacon like this. Stretch that bacon across. Like so. Look at that. Now you could stop there if you wanted. But you guys know that I worry about my cholesterol getting too low. So I'm going to overlap and do just a little bit more bacon. There's one. I won't bore you through this whole entire process, but I'll just show you what I'm doing here. Overlapping a little bit. Now if you're worried about cholesterol, you can stretch it out and just have one piece on there. Be kind of thin. Listen to me, you only live once. So, I say get all the bacon you want. As soon as I get these bad boys all baconed up, we'll be right back. Got them all baconed up. I'm going to come in here with the rest of that seasoning we had. There's no reason to waste it. You could come back in here with some pork barbecue rub. Oh, that would be awesome. And I had a half a pack of bacon, right? Or about 2/3, whatever it was. I ran out. I had one piece of cabbage left, so I set it aside. I'm not going to open up a whole new pack to finish this up. Let's get over to the pit boss. Get that open. Get our cabbages on here with that bacon. I'm getting kind of hungry, guys, just seeing it. There we are. Let's get the lid down and let things cook. It's been 5.5 hours. It took us way longer than I ever thought it would. it is what it is. It's probing at 202. We're going to get it over here. Woo. Just let it rest there for about 20-30 minutes. Well, this cabbage is not quite done yet. The bacon is not quite ready. So we're going to let it keep on cooking. It's been about 50 minutes. Bacon's starting to get done. That means I want to hit it up with the little barbecue sauce. That's right. Barbecue sauce, bacon, cabbage. Can't go wrong. This is a Carolina sauce, very thin. You can use a Kansas City if you want. It's going to put a stronger glaze across it if you use the Kansas City. This back one I'm going to have to move. It's getting a little dark. Hot spot back there. It's okay though. We'll make it work. Yes, sirree. St. Patty's Day. Look, even a green brush. Corned beef brisket has been resting here about 30 minutes. Going to get it out of that juice. Let it sit on this cutting board while I get some of these bacon wrapped cabbage off this pit boss. Let me grab that one I had in the back left. It got a little bit too done on the bottom. That'll be just fine for me. And then what I want to do is go over here and grab just a couple more. These bacon wrapped cabbages, these cabbage wedges. This is going to be so good. And let's get this one. Now, how about that? We're going to sprinkle a little bit on our corned beef there. Oh. Why not put a little bit on our bacon cabbage, huh? Why not? Let's just move our sauce over here. The grain's running that way. So just want to, look at that, pretty tender. Just cut up a few slices here. Of course, after we cut these slices up, you know what's coming, right? The taste test. Still nice and warm. Now let's have a look here, see what you got. I hope you can see that. Do you see how juicy that corned beef brisket is? So juicy. Just going to give it a little bite. I hope you can see that. I don't know if you can see it in the video. It's full of juice. Absolutely delicious. Let's try those cabbage wedges, right? Let me back off the corned beef here. Slice off a piece of cabbage. It's got that bacon wrapped around it. Look at that. I gotta tell you, super good. It's got a really deep, rich flavor. It's got that crunch from the bacon. Hey, you see we do easy stuff here. If you're not a subscriber, I hope you hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell. You'll be notified of all of our new videos. Have an awesome week.